Welcome back to another episode of the Second Look Hockey Podcast. As always, I'm your host, David Leo. And as always, I'm joined with me today with Cristian Chiniti. Cristian, how have you been, buddy?
Been good, man. Been good. Watching tons and tons and tons of not just hockey, but sports in general. I mean, working on some J stuff, trying to find time to fit in some Formula One viewing this weekend. Honestly, not worth it as a Ferrari fan, if I'm being honest. But the playoffs, right? I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're pretty entertaining, even when it's not Toronto involved. There was a ton to watch. Thoroughly enjoyed. How about you?
I've been pretty good. Dude, I was gonna ask you, so I went down to the Jays game yesterday. I know you covered it, but that also fell in the F1 time because they were in Miami, right? That was a
Yeah.
4 o'clock start.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what I don't even know like anything about the race. Where did Ferrari finish? So I'm gonna assume
Um,
that they didn't do too well. They didn't do too well.
no, they did. I think it was outside of like actual like crashes where you cannot finish the race. It was their worst finishes of the year, I believe.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I couldn't. I've kind of already amnesiaed myself, where I couldn't even tell you exactly where they finished, but I believe it was like eighth and 11th for Charles and Lewis. Yeah, they've been going backwards as the season's gone on. So, and now they're starting to get frustrated. So, yeah, not. I still love watching Formula One, even when my team's not doing well. It's always just entertaining to throw on. But yeah, I don't know if you saw anything at all, but Ferrari did a quote unquote special livery that wasn't so special. They threw on some extra blue and white bits on their car. And they also wore blue and white racing suits. So I don't know.
Um,
They tried leafing it up. It didn't really work too well for them.
maybe don't do that when your whole brand is like red and yellow.
Or maybe this is what everyone's mad about is if you're gonna switch up the colors, like properly do it because it literally looked like they just took one part of the car off, put on another car. Like it just looked really haphazardly put together.
Oh,
So
like they were in
the
like
the
the
car was
Hot
basically still
Wheels
red. It was like just
conversion
imagine
kit.
imagine your Toyota Corolla, whatever car you drive, if you just took off the trunk and like let's say you have a white Corolla, okay, and you take off the trunk and put on a blue Corolla trunk part. That's basically what they did. It looked awful. Anyways,
That's
this
that's
is
brutal.
already too much Formula One talk.
Yeah. Speaking of another team going backwards, man, the Toronto Blue Jays. The less said about them, the better. I really haven't like followed them. I might have said this a couple weeks ago. I don't follow them while like the Leafs at least are in the playoffs. Like when the Leafs get eliminated, I get a little bit more time freed up to like to spend on them. I think if the like regardless of how the Leafs do, I don't know if I'm gonna tune in as often because that is a tough, tough, tough watch, man. I was in
So
attendance
yeah,
and everybody's trying to do their best to like kind of get them into it, and it's just like there's nothing. Runners in scoring position, it's like trying to cash in
yeah.
runners for them is like the hardest thing in the world. They're
And
running like
yesterday
a
was actually one of their
marathon.
best days in a while. Like I think they cashed in 4 of 11, and they still can't get it done. Like it's just not.
Yeah,
It's not great. Was the like non Blue Jays part of the game good? Like just like the atmosphere, like just
I
having a
love it.
good
I love
time,
the Rogers Center
right?
right now. It's such a
Yeah,
great time. It
yeah.
really is.
Good,
Yeah, I
good.
love
At
all
least we got
the
that.
improvements. Yeah, I
Awesome.
guess. I guess. I would like a couple more home runs, but that's about it. That's besides the point.
Yeah.
I guess we've been alluding to it enough. The first round of the NHL playoffs wrapped up last night in quite the dramatic fashion in double overtime with the Winnipeg Jets taking down the St. Louis Blues in seven, which kind of upset me because I was 1.6 seconds off of my prediction. Like, that is tantalizingly, agonizingly so close to getting it right. I'm not a Blues fan, but I feel for the Blues fans today because I know if I was in your guys' position and seeing your team go down like that, I
If
don't
that was
know
the
if I'd.
Leafs, dude, there wouldn't be a show right now. I don't know if we'd be able to do it.
Oh yeah, honestly, yeah, there might not be a city right now. I
Yeah,
was thinking about
yeah.
that. Like, okay, I had the thought in my mind. I'm gonna quickly go off topic. I had the thought in my mind. When the Leafs lost Game 5, uh, to the Sens, and they just put up a brutal showing. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna happen. They're gonna go 7. They're gonna get reverse swept. And I was like, what would the fans in Toronto do? Especially that Game 7 would potentially be in front of a sold out home crowd. You'd have fans outside watching. I was like, what? How would the city react? Because that could be the death nail for a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah, you
Thank
just
God that didn't happen.
you fold the franchise and you convert the Toronto Maple Leafs baseball team. You just say like, listen, fellas, like we're gonna need you to step onto the ice starting next year. Like we don't have a team anymore, and you guys are the closest thing. We can at least keep most of the branding. That's what you would do. That would be the pivot.
Okay.
Anyways, the actual
That's
game
enough
there.
Leafs.
Yeah. You stayed up in full for this game. Did you have to
Yeah.
power nap at any point? I had to, dude. I had to cram in like a
Uh,
15 minute like shut
yeah.
eye in the third period intermission to OT. I set an alarm on my phone. I'm just like, okay, 15 minutes, and it helped me, got me through it, and yeah, thank God we stayed up for that one. That was, and I know you already talked about like tough, tough for the Blues. Uh, at least your prediction. Did you throw any money on this prediction as well, or is it just the
I
hurt to the
did.
ego or the bank account?
No, I did throw a little bit of money, but
Okay, okay,
it was in a big like I did a series predicting
yeah,
parlay,
gotcha,
and I
gotcha.
think I ended up going like 6 for 8 now with
Okay,
no, it would be 5 for 8 because I also had the abs in there as
okay,
well. So I mean, it
fair
wasn't
enough,
great.
fair
At least I
enough.
didn't lose by like the one, like that one would have like actually sunk me if that was the only one I lost. But yeah. Speaking of power naps, I took mine before the game started because like I had a little window in between like the 7 o'clock start and getting home from the Jays game. So I took like 45 minutes and then I was back up. And
Set for the night, yeah.
by the third, like, because first and second period, I'm still a little bit groggy. By that third period, I was locked in, dude.
Yeah.
And what a game to be locked in for. What a game for just a player quickly off the top I want to shout out. Cole Perfetti. Oh my God, dude. He looked outstanding yesterday. He had two of the nicest tip goals I've ever seen. That first tip goal of just above Jordan Bennington's shoulder was frankly outstanding. Like that was a picture perfect tip, like stick on the ice. He didn't do there was another series. Oh, it was Zach Hyman. Zach Hyman. I don't know if you saw. I think it was Game 5, but when he tipped a puck and he flipped the stick over to kind of like create a little ramp. I thought Perfetti did something like similar to that, but it was just like he had his like stick flat on the ice, created a little ramp, but like facing up. I was like, that
Yeah.
is the Mona Lisa esque of tips. Like it was unbelievable.
My thought, especially after obviously he has the tying goal with 1.6 seconds to get it to 3-3. I'm like, did I just not know that Perfetti's like really good at deflections or something? Like maybe this just like went over my radar. So I looked up this morning. I'm like, how many deflections did he have in the regular season? Do you want to take a guess?
Well, if you are bringing up this stat, I feel like he had zero deflection goals.
I mean, he had two, and he had as
Okay.
many in this one game, right? So two in an 82 game season versus two in one game. So listen, it's not exactly his signature move or anything. I think the answer here is just a really good player who was able to adapt. That's what was working for him last night, and it worked for the Winnipeg Jets very well. It's crazy to think of. He's one of those guys who, at least a couple of times over his career, you heard the chatter of not getting the greatest amount of ice time, becoming an RFA. What's the deal going to look like? Like he was never solidly in the lineup, like set for the future with the Winnipeg Jets, and it's tough to see it going anywhere but long term now in that relationship. But I feel like I don't know if we're burying the lead too much, but like everybody's eyes were on Connor Hellebuck going into this game.
Oh yeah.
They were still on Connor Hellebuck going into the third period. Um, and you know what? Like, kudos to him in that third period and in those overtimes. He stood up to the plate. And I don't know if you can really erase an entire reputation that you've built over 3 years of having a sub 900 save percentage in 2.5 periods, but it's enough to get your team to live another day. What did you make of the Hellebuck stuff?
I mean, dude, after the second goal, who was it? Who was it that got the second goal for the
It was Matthew Joseph.
Matthew Joseph? Dude, after that goal goes in, I'm like,
It's a stinker.
that has to be in over the run here, like over the 3 years. That the worst goal he's let in. I'd have to go back and watch the tape, but that genuinely could have been like the straw that breaks the camel's back for Winnipeg, for him in Winnipeg. Like I'm going through nuclear scenarios in my head. But like you said, I came on here a few weeks ago and I talked some smack. I think even last week I talked smack about Connor Hellebuck. And he shoved it in my face. So I'm used to it right now. I'm used to it at this point for players to shove the karma back at me. But after the first period especially, I was like, woof. I honestly started to feel bad for him because I'm like, this guy, I don't know, how do you recover from something like that? And by the third period, he showed everybody what his fortitude, his mental is made out of. I don't think he even had like the most spectacular of games, right? I think
No, no.
the shot differential was like it was almost at like 20 between the Jets and the Blues by the end of the game. Like I thought
The
Jordan
Jets really
Binnington.
poured it on starting in the third. Even in the second a bit. But yeah, the ice tilt was evident for sure.
100%. I thought Jordan Binnington had a fantastic game. I'll give him a quick shout out.
Yep.
The guy that beat
Yep.
Connor Hellebuck in the Four Nations final, and in that final
Great
as well, made
storytelling,
some.
NHL. Great job with the script. Good job.
Yeah, I don't know who's writing the script, but somebody cooked with that in particular. Yeah, I guess I don't want to get off of Connor Hellebuck here. I don't think he had the greatest of games, but when he needed to be tall, especially after the first period, he stood taller than the rest, right?
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to honestly just first star of the weekend. Not even a singular game here. Is Sportsnet stats. Just bringing the goods on everything, dude.
Yeah.
Hellebuck, third goal in Stanley Cup playoff history to allow 4+ goal in 7 straight road games. This was actually this was after the game 6 performance, but like the momentum going into St. Louis's favor, and almost as much as the series was about home ice advantage with the home team winning all 7 games, coming into that game, and also like I said, like in the second period into the third, was it really home ice advantage for the Winnipeg Jets and Connor Hellebuck? Like you almost wish, I would almost wish to be on the road in that situation. Like you could tell that Winnipeg Jets, just Canada Life Center was just, you could hear a pin drop halfway through
Yeah.
that game. It was a nervous crowd for good reason. You don't have Mark Scheifele, your best offensive, or Kyle Connor was honestly the best offensive player, leads the playoffs in scoring right now. But Mark
Definitely
Scheifele,
one of
your
the
second
leaders,
best.
though.
Yes, you're missing Mark Scheifele. You lose Josh Morrissey after he plays 2 minutes in this game,
Hmm.
and you have a goalie who couldn't stop a beach ball before this game. So, not only kudos to Connor Hellebuck, but kudos to the entire Winnipeg Jets squad for stepping up, because as much as people were getting on Hellebuck all series, a lot of the times when I tuned in, I was not impressed with the Winnipeg Jets play as a team, especially in front of Hellebuck. Like the amount of shots through screens or not off of a rebound, but really just losing their net front. Like I've talked
Hmm.
about this, I've gone in circles on this. Like the Jets' blue line is not exactly made of trees, right? It's Logan Stanley, who they scratched in Game 7 for Hayden Fleury. Dylan Sandberg has stepped up into that role, but no one else is a tree. They had to kind of find a way to win the series in different ways, and part of that is like Neil Pionk, who played 45 freaking minutes.
Yeah, it was like
Um,
42, I think. Yeah, ridiculous.
yeah, yeah. So that was the definition of perseverance for the Winnipeg Jets. I do wonder, and like led by Adam Lowry, obviously on the winner off of the Pionk shot from the point. He is the emotional leader, obviously the captain of the team. I do worry a little bit, and this is sometimes cliche. It's never not really true all the time, but is this a situation where like the first round was the Winnipeg Jets Stanley Cup, and it's like how do you continue to bring that intensity into the next round? Like I almost worried if there's going to be a bit of an emotional drop off going into series two. I
I
gotta run to get a Kleenex because my nose is having a drop off, but you can
Yeah,
yap
go.
about that for a second.
But I thought there's a very good point there, but also I want to wonder about the physical drop off as well, like playing a 7 game series like that. And I think this also goes for the team that they're going to be going up against in the next round in the Dallas Stars. Like both of those guys played some real tough matchups, and I just wonder like if they're physically going to be up for at least the first couple of games of the series. It's going to be really tough for them. But like yeah, for Winnipeg, they that multi-goal comeback, their multi-goal comeback in the third period was the fifth time that we had a multi-goal comeback in Game 7 third period in NHL history. I don't know why it took me so long to try to get that one out.
There's more to that stat too.
Yeah,
Is there
well,
not
okay.
another line?
So
Yeah.
it's the fifth time that it's happened.
Yeah.
The fourth time was 24 hours ago.
Yeah.
So
And we'll
we
get
had it was like 306 years of NHL playoffs. And then in the last 2 days, two more happened. It's like that is frankly just ridiculous. I don't know if you heard what I said before, Christian, about the physical drop off of the teams.
I did. Yes, I did hear. Yeah. No, it's a good point. I mean, look at the Stars too. Like that's
Yeah.
another series, same idea. So it's like you almost wonder if they're on a level-ish playing field in that sense. Um,
Yeah, that was hands down like the most physical series of the first round.
they
Like
talked about it.
bar
It was
none.
it was one of the most physical, also like in history. I don't know what the exactly where it ranks, but they did talk about the physicality there too. Um, One thing on Winnipeg too, and this is like kind of besides the point, but Nick Ehlers is not a playoff performer, and I feel like I know this is so going the other direction here, but um, that goal, the 1.6 seconds tying goal, comes off of like Nick Ehlers fanning on the puck, and it comes back to him. He makes good on that second attempt with the pass over, but I was in that moment reminded. I'm like, hey, this guy, I'm pretty sure he's like one of the worst like active playoff performers right now. So I look it up, and I think dude has 4 goals in 39 playoff games. I think last night he picked up at least 1 point, so I think he's at 15 points in 39 playoff games. That's
Mm,
I
that's
think
not good.
almost half of his like regular season rate in terms of point production. That is just something I noticed. That's literally all I'm bringing it up for. He had a breakaway opportunity in overtime, but like
Couldn't finish it.
the choking reputation was very much real for the Winnipeg Jets. And Adam Lowry, he talked about that with Scott Oak right after. He said exercising demons a bit is what that was. I don't know if you have anything else on the Winnipeg side, or else wouldn't mind touching on a bit of St.
Yeah.
Louis.
Okay, so I do have now with the Jets going through, it is going to be the first time since 2004 that 3 Canadian teams are in the second round of the playoffs. So that includes now the Leafs and the Edmonton Oilers as well. I I don't know if we have to answer this question right now, but of those 3 teams, we know how futile the Canadian Stanley Cup drought is right now, not since 1993. Of those 3 teams, do we have an idea of any? Do we even have an idea of if any of those 3 are going to be making it to the third round right now? Like who are we placing our
Yeah,
bets off to
I was I,
make it farther?
I was gonna say it's probably not Winnipeg for me. Like it's just not. It's just not. And I don't even know if that's like me thinking that really Toronto's ahead of them in that sense. I think it's almost just like yeah, like Ty goes to the guy who's done it more recently. The Edmonton
in
Oilers went to the
Edmonton.
Stanley Cup final. Like, yeah, they've at the same time they also were swept by Vegas, I think, a couple years ago, or at least handled
I think it was in
pretty well
five.
in five,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
that was en route to a Vegas Golden Knights Cup win
Yes.
as well, right? So
Yeah. So they're all in tough. They are all in tough, and there's no such thing as an easy like second round matchup, especially. So yeah, if you're asking me today, it's Edmonton, and they were the one Canadian team I didn't take to win in the first round. So yeah,
yeah,
change of heart here, but yeah. On St. Louis, I mean, this result in general, like going to Game 7, and Winnipeg winning, is probably as close as you can get to like the storybook ending for both teams coming out of this series. Like, I think if St. Louis won here, I don't know how confident I feel about them taking on the Stars, but Winnipeg is in absolute turmoil. In this scenario, the Blues are like they're disappointed today. They're disappointed tomorrow. I'm sorry, in 3 days you should be elated with how your season went, right? Like
100%.
it's a quick turnaround into a really good summer for the St. Louis Blues. And we like talk about like the Jets doing it without Mark Scheifele. Like St. Louis was playing incredibly well in this series without Dylan Holloway, one of their best players offensively in the regular season. I think he was really missed. And it was impressive what they did without one of their guys when, yeah, this was just an unheralded team. Like, I remember coming into this year and just saying, this team is mid. Then they made what I perceived at the time as a mid trade for Cam Fowler. I was just like, this team is just becoming more mid. That's what their identity
Yeah,
wants to be this year. Like, that's how I felt. They had a mid coach in Drew Bannister, and we've talked about it so many times. But Jim Montgomery coming in has like completely flipped the perception of not just the team like this year, but going forward. They are now the next best contender to pull off a Washington Capitals like turnaround out of nowhere, right? The Caps last year make the playoffs and proceed to get swept. Everyone's like, "Well, this team sucks. Like, what the hell is their future?" Uh, they're in the second round now. St. Louis Blues, I feel really good about going into the summer. I think that they kind of have to have a another active off season, looking to make really creative moves like they did last year. Maybe not offer sheet specifically, but really trying to perfect that blend that they have right now between veterans and youth. Like, they've got a great mix of like really veteran dudes like Braden Shen, Justin Falk, Cam Fowler, who they added, guys in their prime, Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, Buchnevich. But now you also have the super young guys like Holloway, Broberg, Jimmy Snuggerud, Dalibor Dvorsky's a prospect who's going to get
Zach
games. Like,
Bolduc.
it's a Zach Bolduc, Jake Neighbors. Like, it's a great mix that they've got going on, and they just got to find out how to fill in a few gaps. And I think they can be another dangerous team next year. So, like, really impressed by the Blues this year, and I did
I
not
I
expect to be.
I think everything kind of does hinge though on what type of Jordan Binnington they're going to get next year, because Jordan Binnington is prone to going through his extremely hot and extremely cold uh sessions, let's say, or spans. Jordan Binnington down the stretch this year was extremely hot, but we also can't forget at the beginning of this year he was also pretty cold. And then that Four Nations, it seemed like just after the Four Nations run that Jordan Binnington just turned it back onto like the 2019 self. And I think that's where a lot of people were like, okay, if St. Louis is gonna do anything, especially in this first round, it's gonna be on the back of him. And they were oh so close to getting through. Like you said though, I don't know if I really trust them heading into that second round matchup against the Stars. But this has to be kind of like we talk about like gravy years for some teams. Like the Sens should probably be holding their hat a little bit more that they made the playoffs. The Habs as well for making their step forward. Dude, St. Louis was legitimately dead in the water. Were they not around? Because I know the Habs, it was like they were 30th at one point this season. Then it was on December 1st or around December 1st that they were 30th. And they made a playoff. They made it into the playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, St. Louis was like in the like the high 20s. So like the 26 to 28 range as well. And then, what was it, 12 wins in a row that they have? What was their unbelievable stretch? 12, 13 wins?
I know they
Double
know it in double
digits, that's for
digits. Yeah,
sure.
exactly. And I mean, they even still ended this year on I believe it's a 15 game home winning streak, like from the regular season into the playoffs. They haven't lost a home game since February 22nd. So that's really, it's a really
That'll do it.
impressive stat to take
That
into the
would do
summer.
it.
Like that's not, I know it's not about moral victories, but yeah, the Blues who they have like Stanley Cup threads still on that roster. They're not going to be satisfied with losing in round one, but total step forward with not. It doesn't just feel like a one and done to me. Like it feels like they can really find that blend that I was talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely
I'm all
something
good
to build Yeah,
on this series. It
let's.
was it definitely it honestly it over delivered in terms of entertainment. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. So from one Central Division matchup, let's go to the other Central Division matchup that also went 7 games with the Dallas Stars taking down the Colorado Avalanche at home. Dallas was at home, if I got that wrong. Dude, Peter DeBoer, 9-0 in game sevens in his career. That is frankly one of the I remember, I think you brought this stat up to me last year where you're like, if they go to 7, I forget what it was, but what we were talking about, but it was like if they go to 7, Pete DeBoer is taking this. And I know we've had our reservations about Pete DeBoer. We like producer Mando knows all about Pete DeBoer. The last time, so yesterday, I don't know if, or sorry, for that game, the last time that a team came back from a multi-goal deficit in the third period to win also happened to be Pete DeBoer with the San Jose Sharks when they took down the Vegas Golden Knights. Like, how ridiculous of a stat is that?
Yeah. Not only is he 9-0, 9 wins in game sevens, regardless of losses, is the most in North American sport history for a coach. And he's undefeated. Like it's insane. And on the other side, the Bednar stuff, and not just Bednar, the Avs stuff too, right? Like it's such a disparity. Bednar's 0 what 0-4 now, um,
Yeah,
and um, and Colorado's the first North American sports team to lose 7 straight game sevens. Like that, it's a crazy stat. And it almost
that's.
feels like it's snuck up on us. Like doesn't it? Like I don't.
You,
It's a
I think that would get more play if the Avs didn't win a cup in 2022.
Definitely,
You know what
hundred
I mean?
percent, 100%. So like Justin Williams has the reputation as Mister Game Seven. Okay, so Peter DeBoer has to be Coach Game Seven.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I
right, like
guess
he's if
so.
you're doing the
Mayor
starting
game
lineup,
7
right? Like if you're doing the starting lineup, like he's on your bench. Justin Williams is on your. I think he plays right wing.
on your wing. Yeah,
And at this point, Mikko Rantanen's he's in that starting lineup too. You know that he's the active leading goal scorer in Game Sevens, and I believe he has 5 Game 7 goals now, more than anyone else playing in the NHL
so
right now.
wait a minute. He has the active lead, but the Avs are 0 and what is it? 0 and
Correct.
7 or whatever.
Well,
I think
with
English
him
fans
0
like
and
0 and
3
4.
with him on the team.
0 and
Yeah.
3. Yeah. So, that's a real tough look there actually. Oh man, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I think with that we can talk about what happened in that game, and I mean that was. I don't know. Which one did you enjoy more? Did you enjoy the Sunday Game 7 or the Saturday Game 7 more?
So
I kind of like the Saturday one.
full disclosure, didn't really see anything. Like I didn't watch it live. The Saturday game
Okay.
7.
Okay.
I was out and about, and we were watching a bit of like the first 2 periods, and by the third period, it was like, okay, let's just turn it off. We were doing something else. I was at I was at a party for a friend, and I was like, okay, let's we got other things to do here.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it snuck up on us. It was like, hey, the Stars came back in that third period and they ended up winning. I was like, are you kidding me? Like you just couldn't be normal for
Yeah.
once. That's my mistake. I should have known. I should have
Should have
known to.
expected better from these playoffs,
Yeah,
Dave.
yeah.
Come on.
I should have
Hey,
expected it.
anyways, yeah, the Mikko Rantanen story, just from start to not even finish now. We've still got more of it to enjoy, but that was very. This is once again, like I've made the comparison earlier in the year, like almost like NBA like that did not feel like something that usually happens in the NHL. When you get to game 7, or even when you just get late in the series, feels like so many times it's like an Adam Lowry goal. Like it's a dirty one from the guy you least expect that is the hero of the game. And for 2 straight games, Mikko Rantanen was the hero. Not the Dallas Stars. It was Mikko Rantanen just deciding, screw it. I'm going to score 4 points in a period, back-to-back games.
Yeah.
It was incredible, incredible to watch. When I just got in here before we started recording, I know you and Mando were talking about a Mikko Rantanen stat. Did you want to throw it out here
Yeah.
if you had
So
it? Yeah.
I do have the splits for Rantanen. So between games 1 to 4, he only had 1 assist. So only 1 point through the first 4 games of the series, but between game 5 to 7, he ended with 5 goals, 11 points in that span. So to take him up to 12 points in the 7 games. He's also the first player ever to have a hat trick in the third period of a game 7, which feels honestly ridiculous. Like that doesn't feel like a real stat to me either. Like nobody's done that before.
I
guess
think
like
it's a third period hat trick, right?
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
third.
yeah,
Sorry, to
yeah,
have a hat trick in the third period of a game 7. So who scored all 3 goals
yeah.
in
Game
in the
7, Natty
third?
Hattie. Yeah.
Crazy.
The second goal he scored, it's a power play goal, but it might as well have been shorthanded because he goes 1-on-3 with the Colorado Avalanche and comes out with the puck in the net. Like it's insane. It was an insane. Like that's a. I don't know if like Peter DeBoer gives you like the green light in that scenario. Like you, that like William Nylander, I don't think gets the. Maybe he does get the green light. Like I'm just imagining on a power play to have the audacity to just say screw it. Everyone else is behind the neutral zone red line. There's 20 seconds left on the power play. Let me just try this in game 7 when you're down a goal. Like the audacity of Mikko Rantanen and the audacity of him to score on that attempt too was that was incredible. For all of the talk that Mikko Rantanen is not the same player without Nathan MacKinnon, people, Dave, once upon a time we talked about Jonathan Huberdeau being nothing without Alex Barkov. And I don't think you accused Mikko Rantanen of this, but there's people who did. There is people
Yeah.
who did.
There were people. I wasn't completely sold, especially watching Rantanen in Carolina. At first, everybody's there was questions. Like there was a point in time where it's like you did question whether like who made who tick better. But I think we came up with our answer in that third period, right? That was a vintage performance from Mikko Rantanen. And that's somebody who just if we're going to talk about people that elevate their games in the playoffs, Mikko Rantanen has to be put. Like you said it before with the goal stat, but I think that game in particular kind of proved to everybody just what a monster that guy is in the playoffs.
They flashed it up during the game, so I think at this point he didn't have all 4 of his points, but I believe he's top 5 all time, or it's either active or all time in playoff points per game. Like it is Draisaitl, McDavid, and then MacKinnon and Rantanen are next in terms of active guys. Probably throw in like Crosby in there too. But like that is the Mount Rushmore of playoff performers right now.
Wow.
And like, listen, MacKinnon was a beast in this series too, with 7 goals in 7 games. Like he's the leading scorer in the playoffs. He's gonna exit it that way. But I did want to bring up this stat just on the MacKinnon Rantanen front from StatMuse here. Mikko Rantanen stats in the regular season without Nathan MacKinnon in the lineup. Okay, he played 43 games when this was the case between 2017 and 2024. What were Mikko Rantanen's goals and assist numbers in 43 games without Nathan MacKinnon?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm gonna say he had 15 goals. And you want points as well?
Yeah,
I'll pose a guess. I'll say like 35, 35 points.
22 goals in 43
Wow.
games, 52 points in 43 games.
Dude, half a
So
goal a game in without.
basically his career rate. Like that's like he was basically the same guy with and without Mikko Rantanen. I mean, without Nathan McKinnon in the lineup. Now I don't know what the counter argument to that is. Well, they also have Cale Makar. They also have this guy or that guy. It's like, yeah, good teams have good players. Like
Hey man,
that's how this works. But
speaking about Kale McCarr, somebody that just had a, I would say, awful playout. Like there's
yes, yeah,
in terms of superstar players to just not have a great series, I think he's got to be top of my list, honestly. Uh,
definitely.
5 points in the 7 games, 1 goal, no 5 on. I don't think it's like any 5-on-5 points or like only a couple 5-on-5 points. Like this is a guy who should be a game breaking talent, and we know how good
Oh,
Kale McCarr is.
he's a Conn Smythe winner, right? Like that's
Yeah,
part of his reputation too. This is one where it feels like we're waiting for the shoe to drop, maybe at locker cleanout, right? Like we had that in
mm.
Tampa, where it was like, yeah, these guys, none of them have healthy bodies. Oliver Bjorkstrand is like might not have a leg by next week. Like I don't know
Yeah.
if you heard
Victor
that.
Hegman has a broken leg. it's like,
Yeah, like just
wow.
everything. I'm joking about the Bjorkstrand stuff. It's not that serious, but like he's going through stuff. Anyways, like the Colorado, maybe it's not just the whole team, but definitely like Cale Makar, like you're waiting to hear something there. So I don't know. We'll see if that's the case. The fallout here, the consequences, the blame game.
Yeah.
I've surprisingly seen a lot of Avalanche fans contemplating like firing Bednar. I'm surprised by that. I am surprised by that. I guess every coach does have an expiry date. Look at Craig Berube, won a cup with St. Louis and right, no, didn't
Was
stay there for the
unceremonious.
total.
He was let go
Yeah,
within 2 seasons. He
difference
made it
there
to the
is
he made it to the second round the year after. It's not like they
yeah,
were a cup winners and then they missed the playoffs the year after. Like they were still a well-oiled machine, but then
yeah,
over the next couple of years it starts to wear and tear. And we saw like how explosive the ending was in St. Louis. I'm not going to suggest that it's going to be as explosive in Colorado. I kind of feel like they're going to maybe keep a little bit more level-headed, but yeah, I don't know where can can Jared Bednar come back after this? Like that's a collapse,
so
dude.
this is what I think. I'm of two minds here. First is I think the Avs' frustration isn't just with like this series loss, right? Like this is you're going up against the Dallas Stars, who are one of the Cup favorites. Okay, um, and it's been said like it's a first round matchup that's really a conference final.
Yeah,
Um,
but dude, we've had 4 of those in this play. Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
understand the
They're not the
argument.
only ones going through it. But I also think it's additive. Like the real backbreaker is this plus like losing to Seattle after you
Yeah,
win the cup, right? Like those when you put these together is how you end up with the frustration. I still
I
don't think
think.
I fire him. I think this is the off season where you say, Jared, we're taking all of your assistants from you. We're
Mhm.
firing the incumbent coaching staff, and we're maybe not bringing in our guys, but it's like we need a different look. And the Leafs did that multiple times over in Keefe's tenure, multiple times.
But the thing is, like, how well did that go for him, right? Yeah,
Sometimes good, sometimes not good.
sometimes not
I
great.
think that's like I don't know. So would you go the full distance and say sayonara?
No, but I think this is thin ice year for
Yeah.
Bednar. I think this is last dance for him at least. I don't know if it's I don't. It can't be last dance for the core, right? Like you
No,
have
no, you
Mac,
know.
you have Mac, Mac and Mac,
Yeah.
right? That should be enough.
So
But dude, you had your other piece. Like your other piece was the one that costed you,
that's
that
so why
took
are
away everything.
why are we looking at Bednar here?
I think
Uh,
the the finger needs to be pointed a bit higher up, man.
So yeah, Chris McFarland is the GM. Joe Sakic, president of hockey ops. I don't remember when the last time we heard Sakic speak was. I don't know if he spoke after the Rantanen trade, but this feels like a spot. You need something here. I think the Avs they became like the poster child for how to handle your star core the most efficiently.
In
That
a
was kind of
cap
the
era,
in a cap
100%.
era, right? So that was their reputation. It almost feels like they got too caught up in that mindset, right? And it's like I don't know who to point the finger at for the ranting and stuff, whether it's Miko, the Abs, or Miko's agent, but there
Well,
was a bit
every
of a miscalculation there. And I'm kind of leaning towards looking at the Abs and saying you got too caught up in your own philosophy that you lost the,
yeah,
the forest for the trees.
everything we heard from Rantanen's camp was yes, they posed an offer, like they posed a contract like proposal that was higher than the offer that the Avs were going to give. Like it was a substantially over, right? It's not like um they weren't going to lowball themselves, right? They would shoot themselves in the foot like that. But then the Avs kind of took that as a sign of just getting trigger happy and firing them off into the sun, like you said, with that philosophy of keeping all their star players like under a certain amount. But this is also going to be a salary cap that's going up. Was it $25 million over the next 3 years? It's like if you have to pay Mikko Rantanen an extra million and a half over 8 years, is that enough to like to bombard, like to just torpedo everything you've kind of created together? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't see, even at the time it was a bit of a perplexing move, but I think now it's perplexing. And also, if I'm an Avs fan, I am outside of the ball arena and I am picketing. I'm asking for a return, like for a refund
Yeah.
on some of my tickets.
Do you feel you saying you feel like a bit of a Dallas Mavs fan here? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's I wonder this is just like total side story here, but I hope some Mavs fans maybe converted into Stars fans or just paid more attention to their hockey team
A bit
after this
more.
season, right? Like what a
Yeah.
saga to be the team giving up the guy and on the other side the Stars they got the Luka Doncic, right?
I'll
So it's
tell you, they're gonna be the best team in Dallas for a while because the
not a
Cowboys ain't
lot
doing
of
much either.
yeah, not a lot of competition there. Yeah,
Yeah,
the Texas Rangers are up and down all around. Who knows?
yeah, yeah. That's true.
The other side of the other side of the Rantanen equation is who the Avs got. Martin Necas, 5 points in 7 games. He was going head to like he was going toe to toe with Mikko Rantanen in the regular season after the trade. They were honestly he was outperforming Mikko Rantanen at a lot of points. Um, Not the case in the playoffs. Doubled up on points. The bet that you're making as an Abs front office is that you can get better bang for your buck from Martin Necas than Mikko Rantanen. And just saying that is crazy. Maybe that's not. Maybe I'm wrong in putting those words in the Abs mouth, but you need to get basically 75, 80% of Mikko Rantanen's production for 75, 80% of his salary, right? And this year, Necas is making, I think, 6 mil, but next year he's up for a contract. So it's about what you're going to sign him to that deal. And it probably starts with a 9, maybe creeps into the 10 with the salary cap rising. So I don't know. I don't know if it's that part of the. I honestly don't even have a problem with the Nature's bet because he fits the Abs team so well. I don't want to put my blame there. I maybe put my blame at how many shots they've taken at these kind of like mid salary guys, and their hit rate is not great. It's not great. Like you turn Bowen Byram into Casey Middlestat into Charlie Coyle.
And
I
Troy
just feel
Coyle wasn't
like
that great either.
right, and he makes 5.25. I think he's still got another year after this one. You turned your best prospect in Kalen Ritchie and what 2 firsts or first like you turned a haul into one season, half a season, 25 games of Brock Nelson, who scored 0 goals for you in this playoff series.
Yeah.
And the Avs, once again, we talked about level-headed, poster child for how to run a team, be a Stanley Cup contender. They, as much as any team that I can remember recent memory, feel like they're backed into a corner. It's like you need to re-sign Brock Nelson, or else your trade looks awful. And that's not how you should be operating as a front office. But I think losing him is a worse look than keeping him, and trying to keep contending for the Stanley Cup.
I don't know how they
Uh,
can. I don't know how they can like not keep him and
right?
well
It's
like
like, yeah,
they have
it's
the pieces,
untenable.
but it's like yeah, it is. Like
The core is there. You can always have a chance with the core, but like I said, they've reloaded so many times now, and I look more at the back end. Like it is Cale Makar, Devon Toews, and guys. Sam
mhm.
Girard is not who he used to be, right? He needs
Not
to
who
be.
everybody thought he was going to be either.
Yeah, and injuries is part of that too. I was a huge Sam Girard fan in their Cup run. He was on a great trajectory. He he can't be the number three, right? And that's where he is right now. For better or worse, he's the number three. Bowen Byram
Yeah.
used to be that, and
You
all
don't
the health
have a Bowman,
concerns.
you don't have a Byram to fall back on either, right? Like
No,
that's
no.
the thing.
So I'd look at that as honestly the spot where it's like you just need another, and it's not like you even need a guy who's like offensively focused or defensively focused. You just need to upgrade the quality of the blue line in any sense of the word. I feel
I mean
that's where I'm
also
looking.
having Josh Manson back there definitely helps out a lot more than
Yeah,
not. I think
yeah.
personally, I think for me, he's my three at that point, even over like Sam Girard. But yeah, no, I think you're right. Like adding Ryan Lindgren around the trade deadline, was that enough to move the needle? Like I don't think he was the like that great.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe okay. Now I'm
Even
just coming back to like you lost in seven to a Stanley Cup contender. Maybe it isn't the quote unquote end of the world, but
it honestly feels like we've been here before. Does it not?
yeah, yeah, we have been. We have been. Um, I don't know. Like frustrating season. Nathan McKinnon's gonna try and wipe it all away at the Worlds, try and get his mind off of it, I guess. But I don't know. This feels like they're gonna be a sneaky team, the Avs in this offseason. Like I feel like they're gonna be interested in someone that maybe we didn't expect. I don't know who, but I think they might have to follow up their big move in the regular season with a big move in the offseason too. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, so now moving ahead, do you want to stick in the West with the Oilers? The Oilers and the Kings?
Yeah, yeah, let's do it.
All right. So the Edmonton Oilers beat the LA Kings in 6 games by a score of 6-4. Did you watch? Were you okay, so that was the same night as the Leaf game. So I'm assuming you didn't get to see that
No,
at least the first period.
I didn't get to see most of the game. Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
the first 5.5 minutes of that game featured 4 goals in an
So
elimination
yes,
game, which
these
is ridiculous.
notifications I did see. Yes,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
yes.
Um. Dude, Calvin Pickard. What I don't know where to start here, but I will start here. There was gonna be one X factor in this series to go either way for the Edmonton Oilers in particular, and that would have been the play of Stuart Skinner. I know we mentioned it in our previews, and it just so happened that the X factor was Stuart Skinner, but it was him not playing. Dude,
He was
Calvin
the he was
Pickard,
he was the Y factor. I don't know.
he was the Y factor. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
why is he still in net factor? That's what
Yeah,
that factor was. Calvin Pickard 4-0 in these playoffs. 4 goals allowed though in that game. Like he didn't have the greatest of games, but when he needed to stand tall, he did. Dude, the LA Kings, man. I feel sorry for them. This is 4 straight years of being eliminated by the Edmonton Oilers. Do you think people in LA are just sick of seeing the color orange? Because I would be.
you know what the this is the thing about being an LA sports fan is like if you're sick of seeing the color orange, it's like go to Dodger Stadium and view some blue and white. Like you know what I mean? Like they just have so
Ah,
it's just
I know.
I
Oh,
don't know.
well, I
Maybe
would
they're
say
sick of
maybe go
seeing
see
yellow
some.
and purple.
I was
I
about to
don't
say
know.
maybe go see some yellow and
Right?
purple, but then I remembered
Yeah.
their season didn't end too well
Anyways,
either. So
there's a lot. There's a lot of colors in LA that you'll probably find one that you like, but you're right that orange is bottom of the list right now. Yeah, it's I'm really surprised by this because it just simply put, like, this was the LA Kings' best chance. This was their best team in the four attempts. This was the Edmonton Oilers' worst team in the four attempts. And you still found a way to lose after taking a 2-0 series lead. It's I don't you can't come back with the same roster and at the same time, what do you do? Like, you're not trading Anze Kopitar or Drew Doughty. Like, those are cornerstones that you've had since your two cups. They're staying here until they retire. You're not trading Quinton Byfield. You're not trading Adrian Kempe, who lights the world on fire against the Edmonton Oilers. Like, you're
hmm
looking at, I don't know, like Kevin
Brian
Fiala. Is
Clark, like,
that's a
why would
name
you
that I
want
do
him?
look at? Yeah, but like this feels like they feel like they are set up to um they're gonna make the same mistake that the Leafs did after losing a second time to the Boston Bruins.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
in getting rid of, you're saying they're gonna make their Kadri deal, their Kadri for Kerfoot deal this
Yeah,
summer? Oh
yeah.
God. Oh
Now,
man.
so I don't know who's their cod. Like, I don't know. Is Kevin Fiala really their cadre? Like,
Well, nobody got
is Brant
suspended
Clark
for
really? Yeah, yeah. But
nobody got
it was
suspended for an indefinite amount of time. time.
still suspended to this day. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it just they got to be very careful with their next move. And you want to talk about, like, I was gonna say, like, maybe Rob Blake is a guy who should be on the clock, like, but at the same time you make the Dubois move and gets you Kemper, and I mean, I don't know if Kemper was really the greatest. And we talked about that was the other, like, matchup, like Kemper versus McDavid Draisaitl, but
I think
I
he
don't
was
know what
better
goalie
than
you.
the last guys. Like they had
Yeah, a
Corpusalo
hundred.
before and Cam
And
Talbot the year before
can
that.
can you tell me who you could put in that LA net that makes this a different series? Like, no, I don't really think there is a guy. I don't really think so. And the thing with the LA Kings is their goaltending was awful in the regular season too. It was part of the reasons why sometimes they couldn't make the playoffs. Like, David Riddick is the backup there. His save percentage is below 900. God forbid Darcy Kemper wasn't there. They were in a world of hurt. So they're really stuck. They have to be thinking, how do we win the division next year to ensure that we don't play the Edmonton Oilers? Like, I don't know. I guess that's really, and even then, you
Well,
might still
they'll
have to
do
play
that,
for the.
and they'll be the Oilers will be a wild card team with substandard
Yeah,
goaltending, right? Like,
no,
and
I.
then
It's a crazy spot to be in for them. I, they're stuck. They're stuck.
I think starters has to be getting rid of Jim Hiller. I know we said it, but like you said it before, you are not a
Yeah,
Jim
listen,
Hiller guy. I
no,
saw
no.
I don't know if you saw this. I saw a tweet that was like Chris Knobloch is playing checkers while Jim Hiller is also playing checkers. The only difference is that Jim Hiller does not know how to play checkers.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I'm not a Jim Hiller guy. I I guess yeah, like, you can make that move because it's Jim Hiller, in the sense that no one's gonna be too mad if it's like one and done for Jim Hiller. Like, it's not like oh my God, that was unfair to the coach. I even then, like, I am really struggling to come up with and this is on in early May, so there's gonna be lots of time for them to come up with their correct answer. But I
100%.
I struggle to see a path that I really like in terms of, this is how you get a different look. This is what you do. I'm not seeing it right now. So that's scary. Now, on the Edmonton side, I was a doubter. I chose the LA Kings in six. It was the Oilers in six. Um, we talked about Winnipeg doing it without Mark Scheifele, without Josh Morrissey in game seven. They did it without their, by far, like, no question, their best defenseman on the defensive side of the puck this entire series, and Matthias Ekholm. They probably still don't have him in round two. Um, they found a way, and it's the usual suspects at the top. It's as much a Kings choke job as it was just like Oilers. That's the Oilers formula over and over again is McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard. I saw like, and this is I think this was Opta Stats. Who they got some good stuff too, but this one was like if you watch hockey, like I hate the like combined point stats. It's like sure if a first line combines on a goal, yeah, you have 3 points, but that was one goal, that was one play. Like I hate that stuff. But McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard in I think it's 22 playoff games against the Kings have like 115 combined points. Even yeah, no, yeah. So even let's even divide that by three, right? It still comes to like 36 or something like that in
That's
28,
ridiculous.
right? Like you're still almost at a 2 point per game rate from those three players. So in other words, every night the LA Kings play the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs, you can basically guarantee that two of those three players are getting points.
Yeah.
That's
And not just one. It's like multiple. It's like two of them are getting multiple points, basically. I saw another
they
one too.
they own them.
I don't know if you saw this, but it was like McDavid and Draisaitl in like combined in 145 playoff games or something like that. They have 200 plus. It's like 250 plus points, and it's like the Leafs, the core four, in the same time span have like 160, and there's four guys instead
Checks
of
out.
yeah, yeah.
Well, there was also
It's
yeah. Well, I'll bring it up now honestly because we're already talking about it. But there was like a Sebastian Aho stat where it's like he's got I think it was like 11 goals in 14 potential clinchers, and the Maple Leafs core four combined has 10. And that changed. I mean, yeah, it did change for the better
changed a
because
bit.
yeah, we did get
Did change a
three of
bit.
those. We got three of those. So Sebastian Aho, you can never say that again. Okay, you never. But anyways, no, like you run out of just ways to describe McDavid and Draisaitl, right? That's it. It basically just feels like the way that they lose series is in colossal disappointing fashion. Like I brought up the Mike Trout Shohei Ohtani meme. That's how it feels like it is anytime they lose a series. Like they don't lose series in regular ways. They lose by their goalie being worse than Connor Hellebuck the past 3 years, which is really hard to do. They lose by just astronomical ways, and if that's not the case, they're probably winning because they've got probably the two best players in the NHL.
Two of the best players over the past like 40 years. Like
Yeah, like
they're
in
putting
the
up
playoffs. Yeah, it's
they
insane.
are putting up Mario and Gretzky numbers like at this point right now. Like that is where they're at. It's unfortunate that the rest of the team just hasn't been like that. So for the Kings, it's like how are you meant to stop the reincarnate of Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky,
And you have a
right?
guy who turns into at least turns into like Yammer Yager and Adrian Kempe. So like you're already getting that, and you need another one of those guys. Where the hell do you find that? You don't. You don't. Like I don't know the path. Um,
It's not
that's
clear
that's
right
really it.
now.
Yeah.
That's for
No.
sure.
No.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
hop
Let's move on.
over. Let's hop over to the East. Who did you want to talk about first in the East?
Um, let's talk about the guys on our hats, because then after that
Yeah,
we can look at some second round stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so I have a question. So the Leafs, they win in 6 games. They beat the Sens 4-2 in that sixth game. Max Pacioretty scores a late goal. All the talk before the game starts, asking why Max Pacioretty is A, still in the lineup, and B, why is he moving up to the second line?
I will throw in there too. The guy who has the primary assist is Max Domi. A couple of Maxes here, and there was
Couple
people
of Maxes.
suggesting might be time to scratch Max Domi as well.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I don't know if I was on board for a scratch, but I was certainly starting to lean that way. How funny is it that the Battle of Ontario ends with a goal from a number 67 assisted by a Domi? How fitting
Yeah.
is that?
No, hockey Illuminati was eating good after that game. Like just yeah,
The Curse
yeah.
Busters, they're coming out.
Oh no, it's yeah, it's it's crazy because I just immediately thought back. Not immediately. I should definitely not say that. My thought was not here until until my subway ride home after the game. Um, do you remember Max Pacioretty's like Leaf debut in the preseason with a 2-goal game? Was it against? I think it was against Ottawa. It was either Ottawa or Montreal. I'm pretty sure it was Ottawa.
You're gonna
Is that
deep
not?
cut this. I don't remember that.
Ah,
I really don't.
I, dude, I totally read it because it comes in on the PTO. Everyone's like, oh, like let's see what he looks like. And he in his debut, he had a two goals and 3 points, I believe it was in the preseason. So
Hmm.
listen, yeah, but
I don't remember
funny how
that.
things funny how things come for
It is.
full circle for
It is
him.
full
So
circle for him. Uh,
yeah, no, I
Dude,
what do you
first
got?
playoff goal for Patches since 2021. Also, his first goal in the NHL since December. On like with that,
Yeah,
he's breaking some slumps of his own, right?
not even slumps. Like guy's body is breaking down, and he's just finding ways to stick around. He's finding ways to stick around. Incredibly, that is his fourth series clinching goal. Like that's a incredible stat. Um, yeah. So listen, came up in the clutch. It's really weird. Like, will you look back on the time period where Thomas Plekanec was a Leaf, or Max Pacioretty as more like just head scratching, like just seeing them in the jersey when you think about where they were for all the time before that?
I
Like
I
it's
think I think I'm scratching my head more with Plekanec just because he had legitimately a cup of coffee. Like it was
yeah,
under 20 games. Like at least Patches was here from the start of the season. We got Plekanec like around the trade deadline, and then by the
yeah.
end of the
The other
playoffs, he
thing
was
too is
gone.
like Patches spent years in Vegas and then Carolina and then Washington, so like it's far removed, but like
It's a bit more removed,
still
100%.
still when I close my eyes, I see him in a Habs jersey. I do. So yeah.
Speaking of slump busters, the Leafs they opened the game with a power play goal, a power play
Shout
that hadn't scored
yeah.
since 2018.
Yeah. Who assisted on this Austin Matthews goal? Sorry, I'm
Well,
putting on the spot. I shouldn't have done that. But anyways, my point was Chris
I do
Cuthbert
know.
assisted on it. Chris Cuthbert. That's all I wanted to say there
Did
is
he?
Chris dude, his commentary on that zone entry is like the Maple Leafs haven't scored a power play goal since this guy, William Nylander, was wearing 29. And then William Nylander makes the pass to Austin Matthews and they score. So yeah, shout out Chris Cuthbert for that one. That was a great assist.
I
Picks
didn't
up a
catch
secondary.
that.
It
From
was a
to be
good no,
honest, I didn't catch that.
hey, dude,
I was too
dude,
locked
it's
in.
listen, you're probably watching with like dozens of people wherever you watched. I watched like it's me with my headphones on and another dude with his headphones on, and that's it. Like we are so locked in on the game
Like
that
as
I
locked in
hear
as
everything.
possible.
I hear everything that Cuthbert and Simmer say. So, but yeah, yeah, like that was the recipe coming into that game. You're just like you need all of the things. You need the river in poker. You need it to show up. Matthew scores a goal. William Nylander birthday bash, and Mitch Marner plays responsible
Takeover game.
hockey. Right? Like
Yeah.
and we got it. We had it. So that was the recipe. Thank God there was not a pod between game 4 and game
And
6.
five. Yeah,
Yeah,
between yeah.
yeah,
Well, we
because
got it just
listen.
before game five, right?
Yes, exactly. So, um, yeah, our minds were not here. Like we were not this calm. If you go before Thursday, if you transport back to before Thursday, and I still don't get on fans, and I'm not going to get on myself. Or I'm sure you were there too, Dave, where we were getting in the mindset of, oh my God, it's happening again. This looks so familiar. It's because it did. Like we came on actually the last pod we did is we were kind of defending Matthews and Marner for game 4, saying honestly they got better as the game went on. I'm not totally throwing it on them. They had some chances in overtime. Game 5 was a disaster, and it made us look like idiots. And then in game 6, as the Leafs do, they made us look like idiots again because we didn't believe, and they showed up. So
Okay, so I
yeah,
do have a thing for you. So the Leafs now have won two first rounds over the past 3 years. In 2023, my reaction was so much more different than it was for this current playoff run.
1,000%. Yeah.
Um, Obviously, like just it was context. It was the context of the moment. Like the OT winner obviously would get you more hype than honestly like a late goal in the third is as close to an OT winner as you can get, but there
Yeah.
is still time for the other team to come back, and they almost did. They came very very close. But I think it was more like anger that I had let out in the first in the Tavares one. Mine was more of a roar of excitement and letting loose of like at least 20 years of just heartbreak
Oh yeah, dude.
and
Yeah.
just
No,
sorrow,
100%.
right? This one I let out like a sigh of relief, honestly.
Yep.
I don't even think I screamed. I didn't even go yes. I like put my head down and was like I had to take a step back. I was like, because I had the exact same thought. You brought it up. Game 5, I had the thought in my head as Shabbat scores the 1-0 goal. I'm like, oh my God, we are like this, here it is. This is it. This is the end of the world for the Maple Leafs. We are in the end game. We're getting reverse swept. I had that exact thought. So when Pacioretty got that late goal in the third in Game 6, I was like, let's close the red button. Everybody take your hands off. You know what I mean? Take away the keys for the nuclear launch codes. We don't need to go to
You felt
war.
like they were gonna do it, right? Like when Patches scored. Listen, there's always gonna be the doubt in the back of your mind, but you felt good about it. Like you felt like they are taking this
Yeah,
to the wire, right?
I was like,
I
oh
mean,
my
sorry.
God.
Of course, you feel good about it, but yeah, you know what I mean. Like you did not be like, okay, this game's not told. Like
Not
you
done.
felt based on the resume that the Leafs gave us this year, especially on defense. It felt like they could hold on for dear life, and they did. And it took a Scott Laughton shot to the knee that he might still be on the floor. Yeah, but they got it done. So yeah, it's the Tampa win was the Leafs um, letting go of all the demons. This was them just winning a series like a normal team does when they win a series, right? Like it was just like, yes, we should be winning series. That's what good teams do. Like it wasn't, this is us coming to terms with, oh my God, the Leafs might be a regular team now. Maybe like they still
Maybe.
got they still
I doubt it.
there's lots
I
of
still
there's
doubt
lots
it.
of we busted one curse. There's a lot more, but yeah, that's it. We're learning. We're
I'm glad
adapting to this new reality.
I'm glad to know we kept one curse, and it's actually a good curse. The Leafs haven't lost to the Ottawa Senators in the playoffs. They're is it 5-0 now in the
They are
playoffs?
5-0. They are 5-0. Yes, they are. Yeah.
Sens
No, it's
fans, how does that
yeah,
feel?
yeah. No, I think Sens fans once again like same thing as the Blues. Like while there was expectation to get to the playoffs, there's never guarantees, and they did it. They looked as good as they could in a 6 game series. Like 3 of these games go to overtime. Really, there's 2 games where it's blowouts. You have game 1 and you have game 5. Otherwise, it was like just wire to wire chaos in close games. So they can. I want to say they can leave with their head up high, but they won't. They're gonna be disappointed. Brady is the emotional leader there, and yeah, he was disappointed as hell. That
Oh
was
my
great to see. I
God.
love that. That was great. No,
Listen,
yeah,
for as much I know, I'm so relieved that we don't have to see Brady until next October.
yeah, yeah,
But wow, what a showing for him. Like if you're a
yeah.
Sens fan, you have to be over the moon. You have to be banging on Michael Landauer's door and everything to just be like, please
Just to drop
do
off some
every
flowers.
everything in your power to keep Brady Kachuk in Canada for the foreseeable future because that guy is
Maybe
a
LeBrendan
menace.
Fats. Maybe not Canada, but
Oh
LeBrendan
yeah,
Flats.
yeah.
Maybe.
Hopefully, well, just keep him in
Yeah.
Ottawa. Keep him there.
Yes.
Keep
Yes.
him in
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Ontario. Well, I
Yes.
don't know if you want to keep him in all of Ontario because could be coming down the 401.
Yeah.
But
That'd be. Yeah.
I would
Definitely.
love for that.
Yeah.
I would love for that to happen.
Uh.
But dude, Brady Kachuk. I remember. So that first game, I would say the first couple of games, it took him till about game 3, I would say. Maybe
Yeah.
game 2, like
Ridley Greig was the guy that we feared more until game three.
yeah, yeah. But as the series went on, Brady Kachuk looked as dominant, maybe like as his brother has in the past. I don't. That may be an unfair comparison.
He showed up when his team needed him, right? And the thing with Matthew Kachuk is, we'll talk about it, like the rest of his team is a bunch of monsters too. Brady Kachuk's team, they're working on it, but he's got to be the top dog. And that's what he was by the end of the series. We talk about loving dudes who sell you hard. Yeah, like he's got that down pat. He's got
Not
that
only
down pat.
does he sally hard, but he also taunts while he sallies as well. Where he's like, he was.
Yeah.
What did he do to the Toronto crowd in Game 5 that had a lot of people like up in arms? He was like, did he like wave bye to them?
I don't even know, man. I know there was obviously like the our house stuff or like we're coming back, right? There was a lot of that. He does love to pander to the Ottawa crowd. It's good. It's good. It's a
They need somebody like
they
that.
yes. No, he makes them feel important, and yeah, like I listen, like you know what the Raptors have that sometimes where it's like the inferiority complex or the insecurities of like oh
It's the
this
we the North complex.
yeah. So teams in the NHL have that too. Yeah. Nothing else really on the Sens. They'll probably be back next year. Travis Green definitely did better than I expected as well. That was another guy I thought mid coach, not really going to match the expectations of what they're expecting, but they did. So kudos to them. Um, Leafs here in terms of like three keys that I thought got them this series win. No matter how you slice it, you look at the core four like numbers they were what they needed to be, right? Like William Nylander 9 points. I think Mitch had 8. I think Matthew 7 and JT 5. That's what you need. That's what you need. B like the blue line. Probably that's honestly probably reason number one. It's just how comfortable did you feel while the puck was in our zone? Like you didn't feel like every time the Sens had possession it was a fire drill, right? Like
Yeah,
it was just part of the game. It's just how the game goes. The goalie Stolarz, better goalie of the series. And listen, did he have some softies? Yes. Was he dominant? No. But you didn't have to worry about him on a game to game basis, period to period basis. You didn't. You let
the
him do his
minute to
thing.
minute basis.
Yeah, and we've had that with Samsonov. We've had that
Jack
with
Campbell,
basically every goalie before
Freddie
Stolarz, right?
Anderson. Yeah, there's
So
put down the list basically at
yeah,
that
and
point.
then
Yeah,
the special teams early in the series, they need to get back to that for round two talk now. Um,
getting
the,
getting that getting that power play goal in the elimination game has to certainly help out a lot more. Especially that was their only attempt. They went 1-for-1 in game 6. Um, Now heading into the next series, they're going up against the Panthers, who, if they get drawn into that special teams battle, it's going to be really tough. That
it's
is
over,
not a
man.
battle you
Yeah,
wanna.
no.
That is not a battle you want to get into.
The Selkie finalists were announced. Two of them are Florida Panthers. It's because they penalty kill really damn well. Okay, like Sam Reinhart and Alex Barkov they are going to be offensive threats on the penalty kill. Like I want, like you said, like I don't want to get into the special teams battle. But when you do, you have to go toe to toe with the Panthers. And that's going to be really, really tough unless they look like they did early on in the Sens series. It was a lot of like set plays also off of face-off wins, and that's something that Leafs got to get back to. And I think as the series goes on, it gets harder to have like the advantage in the face-off dot just because you know who you're going up against. You've had so many goes at it with that guy in the series that it just becomes more of a 50-50. But early on, they need to make it an advantage again. Um, the blue line, like if you're comparing blue lines here, no Ekblad for game one for Florida. I don't know. How do you feel comparing the two blue lines? Like you have to feel obviously as good
I
as
feel
you
good.
could ever feel, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
That like they're still Like Aaron Ekblad's going to be back. Seth Jones has
Gus
crushed the Leafs
Forsling.
in a playoff series before. Gustav
Yeah.
Forsling is the best of the three, honestly, just as a complete defenseman. And then there's like, okay, you got to take advantage of like the bottom guys though, like Kulikov, um, Balinskis while Ekblad's out, Nate
Yeah.
Schmidt, who I mean Schmidt has 3 goals, so yeah,
that could be a Conn Smythe winner if they go all the
yeah.
way, man.
But yeah, you need like your three. So you need OEL, Carlo, Benoit. Not that Carlo plays bottom three, but like those are your 4, 5, 6. Like you need those guys to match the Florida 4, 5, 6. And then you just need a saw off. Yeah. Like I don't know if Riley, Tanev, McCabe versus Ekblad, Jones, Forsling. It's gonna be like Riley needs to be playoff Riley, which I mean pretty good in the first round, right? So he needs to keep that up. And I mean, McCabe and Tanev are probably the least question marked players on this team, right? Like those are the two guys where you're just like,
That's the guy
all
you're
right,
putting you're
security
hanging your hat
blankets.
on those two. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
I don't have my doubts about them, but for me, my one finger that I'm pointing at is Morgan Riley though, because Riley had his moments of playoff brilliance in the first round. Like he started off the series as red hot as any defenseman besides Oliver Ekman-Larsson, like in terms
yeah.
of offense. But then as the series kind of went on, he was getting ran quite a bit. He had a lot of miscues, I thought, especially like in the mid part of the series. If he can just clean it up and stay level, just do what he's done best all his career, I'm confident, but I just want to see a little bit more out of him, basically.
Yeah.
For me, I think the bottom six for the Leafs, especially that Lawton, Lorentz, Yarncroke line, if they can at least be held to be defensively responsible, kill some clock like they did against the Sens, they are. I would call them like the hourglass line, like the sands of an hourglass. Like they're there just to like flip it over and just let time pass. If that's all they have to be, and maybe once or twice they could keep it deep and maybe get a couple of chances. I think they'll actually like find the back of the net because they were very unlucky. I thought in that first round, Scott Lawton must have hit 2 or 3 posts in the 7 games.
They were straight
I
up
think
the
Yarncroke
best
has.
team. I'm sorry, they were the best line in the Leafs like game 5 loss. Like they were
Yeah,
the most threatening line. And like they've started games. Like Berube's put them out for opening faceoffs multiple times. I'm pretty sure,
they're a
right? At least
trustworthy
once.
line. They are
Yeah.
definitely a trustworthy line. The line that we definitely need to highlight and circle, and I don't know, like
Red marker, blue mark, every marker. You're thinking of the marker, not even the marker, the pen that's got the 4 things you can push down, all the colors. You're taking that
yeah,
one out for this one,
it's
okay?
it's got to be the third
Yeah.
line. Like I don't even know. Do you call them the third line or are they
Honestly, at this
the?
point, yeah, they're not. They're not the third line. They are the fourth line. And here's why: the Florida Panthers' actual third line lost to Rainin, Anton Lundell, Brad Marchand. Like you cannot go head to head with the Leafs quote unquote third line. Like you
With
can't.
like Max Domi, Bobby McMahon,
Pontus
and
Holmberg,
Pontus
Bobby
Holmberg.
McMahon, like whoever it is, Max Pacioretty, whatever combination you put there, they cannot go head to head. At least on home ice. I'm sure the Panthers are going to be looking for that when it goes back to Sunrise. But yeah, you're going to want that Lawton line to probably go up again. I mean, I don't know if it's going to go up against that third line, but you need to try and get that Domi line out as much against the Panthers' fourth line. Like that's what you're going to need. And the Panthers' fourth line, I think, is Greer. I just had it up here: Greer, Nico Sturm, and someone else who it's like you. Oh, Jesper Boqvist. You you got to be able to win that battle. Like
Yeah,
that's a line that you have to be able to. At least, just do not get scored on. Do not give up gaffes to those guys. Don't let them make you pay. Okay,
yeah.
you're supposed to be the ones making the Florida Panthers pay there. Yeah, like the Panthers are deeper than the Leafs. Like it's just that is what it is up front. In the top 6, like it is. five guys, and then I think like the Panthers number six guy is Rodriguez, who is going to be better than anything the Leafs put at their like sixth guy. Right now it's Patches, right? Like you're taking Rodriguez every time. But the core five, if you want to call it that now for forwards, up against Florida's. That's another one where it's like that's another very important battle. It's probably I don't know if every battle is important here, but how important do you think like that battle is? Like Leafs, Knies, Matthews, Martin, Nylander, Tavares up against like Barkov, Reinhart, Verhage,
Verhage.
Kachuk, Bennett, right? That's the matchup there.
Listen, the proof is in the pudding of like the last time that they played, those five thoroughly overwhelmed our five, right? How do you turn the tides? Like that's what I'm looking for is which one of them wants to take over this series for on the Leaf side? Is it gonna be Willie, who's had a frankly outstanding year, but if I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't think has really had a outstanding game, maybe aside from his game six. And I don't even think he was that spectacular. I've seen William Nylander take over playoff games before. Can he do that against the Panthers? I'm not sure. Can Austin Matthews turn into the heart guy that we know? If he turns into the heart guy, could he in turn become a potential Conn Smythe winning player for the Leafs? Like that is the standard that he needs to set. Unfortunately, for better or for worse, he needs to be a potential Conn Smythe winner. And the same, I think, goes for Marner, who I think out of everybody has the most to prove, especially against these Panthers. It should be good that we're going to be getting Matthew Knies relatively healthier than he was against the Panthers the first time. Like that's a
I mean, he
rookie
was
Matthew
injured in that
Knies.
series, right?
That
So
yeah, that's what I mean. Like they knocked him out in game one, right? You
yeah,
couldn't get a full series of Matthew Knies in there. Hopefully we get more than a game of Matthew Knies. We get a full series of Matthew Knies. That could be he's been a real difference maker. Can John Tavares, who I think genuinely was the Leafs' best forward in game six and for large stretches of the first round, he was it looked like the John Tavares of old. It was
he
vintage
played
John
the
Tavares.
per game he played the least of the core four, which isn't like a surprise. I think it was like 17 something, but it looked like it kept him fresh, right? Like it looked like he was allowed to go out there every shift and give it his all because he was not overextended, right? It was great. Like they have him in a perfect spot right now in terms of how often he's out there and what he can do. No, I think you lined it out really well there. And then goaltending. Okay, first off, I want to talk about like game one is obviously tonight when this is going to come out on Monday here. I cannot believe how many people I saw talking about like a potential wall game one stuff. I feel like that was
No.
very manufactured, just from the standpoint of like even if you want to caveat it with, um, if you believe that coming out of that series that wall might give you a better performance, okay. Just once you include the human factor, like that this is not just the game played on paper, like the situation gets taken out of your hands. Like
This is
imagine
an
going
NHL.
from yeah, exactly. Like imagine going from Anthony Stolarz, who wins the series in Game Six, plays every single minute of the series. Okay, comes out on top. Would now be going up against his former team that he won a Stanley Cup with, um, and saying, "Yeah, you're actually not starting Game One." Not only just imagine like the mental effect on him, but like the dressing room. Like why? Like you just be asking yourself why, right? And yeah, I just thought that was really manufactured. I just heard it way too
I
much that I
I
had to.
never I am as big of a Wall guy as there is out
Yeah,
there. I've loved Joe Wall since like he was like in the minors. I am team Joe Wall. But I think there's not a shadow of a doubt in my mind. And I'll caveat
like
this.
I
I
said,
don't think there's
I'm
not
only
even
entertaining this. I shouldn't even entertain it, but
there's
and you
not
saw
even a
it too, right? Like you
shadow.
saw.
Oh, I know I saw because
Yeah,
I know people were
yeah.
saying, like, I've heard people say it where it's like, well, listen, Stolarz has given up a couple softies, but I've seen softies in my time, guys. We stuck with our goaltender through thick and thin. When Freddie was here, when Soup was here, when Sammy was here as well. I'm letting Stolarz, unless Stolarz quite literally gets blown out of the water. That is the only time I'm even considering making the change
Which
to
is
Joel.
that's basically what you'd expect in any goaltending tandem that isn't a one like a one and a two. Like this is a 1A 1B setup. When you have a guy who has a stinker, this is the advantage is that you have a guy that you can go to. Like there's not the longest leash for either guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the setup. So yeah, I don't know. I just had to bring that up there. The other side on the Florida side, like Bobrovsky, this is a guy who absolutely owned us 2 years ago. I don't really know if there's a blueprint to beat him. I guess really what you go to is it's the formula that worked against Vasilevsky, and I'd say to an extent against Omar. Like Omar gave up
Especially at
softness
the
too,
beginning.
but yeah, exactly. Where it was traffic in front, um, deflection stuff, and yes,
Just taking the eyes.
this works on every goalie. Definitely, like yes, can confirm when goalies cannot see the puck, it is harder to stop. But like, just stick with the fundamentals here. This team, especially this year, this year's been the least that they look for the perfect pass, right? They don't do that too often. They're pretty direct with their game plan offensively. So it does feel like they're just better equipped to take on the Panthers this year. We can get to like prediction talk now. Um, I was talking to Justin, I think a couple days ago, and honestly, might have no, I think it was after the series wrapped up. But tell me if I'm wrong. To me, the Sens, Leafs, and Panthers all kind of try to play the same game. Like they're all of the similar mold. It's almost like it's like a Pokemon evolution line here, man. Like the Sens are Charmander, Leafs are Charmeleon, but god damn it, the Florida Panthers are Charizard. Like that's just kind of like, am I wrong? Like that is how I feel about this.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think that's
Yeah,
that's a fair point. What was the comment that Berube made yesterday where it was like
about being
somebody asked
mean.
him, he's like, yeah, he's like, you gonna engage like in the meanness of the
Yeah,
Panthers?
and
Is
he
that
said
was that
like
what
I
it
don't
was?
know. He
It's like, are they
insinuated
mean?
like yeah, and he basically said like the Senators were kind of mean. Like I thought we handled them well. I actually didn't love that quote because I do kind of think it pokes the bear that is the Panthers, and they like to feed off that type of stuff personally. Because
Yeah.
God damn it, I think they're going to show us game one that they're mean. I don't think it's going to be a doubt in Berube's mind. So now that Berube has said that, to me the onus flips. It went to the Panthers. I'm betting that they're going to show up, and now it flips back to the Leafs. How do you match it? I don't think we can. To be honest, we don't have bullies.
No, we can't be
We
mean.
don't.
We can't win
We
the mean
don't.
off.
But can you? So can you? If you can't win the mean off, can you win like the grease off? I want to see Oviel's greasy. Like we know that
Hmm.
now. Oviel is greasy. Maybe he picked up some of that grease from the Florida Panthers, but he does stuff in between the whistles and when the ref's not looking that they add up as the series goes on. Max Domi
Max
can do
Domi.
that. He takes a lot of dumb penalties, but if you can really limit that, which is I'm asking a lot here, but
If
like that,
if
that's the
he
he needs to step up and be that type of guy.
if his penalties consist of him going to the box with another player,
Good
I'm
point.
I'm completely
Good
fine with
point.
that. Give
Can't
me a
be
couple
can't be
four on
high sticking a
fours.
guy off of a face off in game six, maybe. Yeah,
No,
that's a good
yeah,
point.
that probably won't work in the long run, honestly.
Yeah, and then
They
I look at my number. Okay, number three is definitely Benoit. Like that's the closest we have to bully. I think
yeah.
number four for me is and Mando talked about this before the Sens series, and I don't know how much we totally saw it, but I still think there's potential in some respect for Scott Lawton to bring the grease factor.
Yeah.
I like he plays hard. He definitely plays hard, and I think if you challenge him, he will step up to a challenge.
He's not
And
backing down from a fight.
he's disciplined. Like I can't even remember a Scott Laughton penalty in general. Like I'm even thinking regular season, there definitely was some, but he's not. He doesn't. There hasn't been a time yet in his Leaf career where you've said that's a bad spot to take a penalty, Scott Laughton. It hasn't happened yet.
I hope it doesn't happen this
Definitely,
series. I hope
definitely.
not. But for Scott, in defense of him, like I saw a lot of people getting on his back immediately after the trade was made, and I think it probably took him about 15 games to kind of get. No, I would say even less, 10 games to kind of get settled in. But since then, he has been as dependable on the penalty kill. The guy just blocks shots with his face. Like he goes into everything like head
I mean, look at
first.
his face. That's a mean face, right? Like that can take some shots. Yeah,
I'll be honest with you, for some reason I'm expecting just a huge series out of Scott Laughton. Whether it be
yeah.
on the offensive side, I don't think it will. But I think the way that we've kind of lined it up, if he's the one to kind of help neutralize that Luostarinen Lundell duo with also Marchand, like if he's able to neutralize that,
Yeah.
I think the Leafs have a pretty good chance because that's kind of where you get into into a rough spot. If they're able to get if that line in particular is able to get ahead on you, it's like you've got no hope in hell. I think the hope kind of has to start there, which is so like anti of what the team is kind of built on. But I think the way that they have to win the series kind of starts there. If you get my drift, like
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
obviously we talked about it before.
It's the depth battle. Like if the even if the core shows up, you expect the Panthers to as well. So then you look further down the lineup, right?
Yeah.
That's yeah, yeah. Okay. If I'm going full honesty here, I am saying the Panthers win this in seven. I think that the Leafs will. I think the Leafs are going to show us something that they haven't shown to this point. And I think right now the Panthers are the favorites. They are in most respects. Like there's not. I don't know how many analysts are taking the Leafs. I don't know if you look at any sports books. The Leafs are not going to be favored in this series. This is the defending Stanley Cup champions. But I think they're going to show. They're going to in a. I don't even want to say typical Leaf fashion because I think this will be different. They're going to make us believe that they can win this series, and I think the Panthers are going to show us like why they are Stanley Cup champions. I think they're going to show the Leafs that we are just the slightest bit off still. That we're closer, but I don't know if they're at the Panthers level yet.
All right, so my prediction is Leafs in four. No, don't clip
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I I went back and forth about this. I don't think it's gonna. I hope it doesn't end in five. I don't see it ending in five. I don't think. But I am gonna go Panthers in six.
Okay.
As much as I want to believe that the Leafs are at least gonna take them to the limit, I just saw how just dominant they looked against the Lightning.
Definitely.
And I was like, I'm so nervous. If they can make it to seven, yeah, it's gonna crush me. It will crush me if they lose in
That's
seven.
I
Yeah,
yeah, I don't expect them to make this easy for us to move past. You know what I mean? Like I can't we talked about like a business like series against the Sens, and I mean, I don't know if it was business like, maybe business casual is how I would describe the Sens series. But this one here, do we really expect this to just go completely the script and the Panthers just win and like that's that we wash our hands and we go our separate ways? Like there's going to be something here that we did not see coming, and I think it could be that just like we see the stars show up, but it's just still like we give our quote unquote best effort, we go toe to toe, and just the coin flips don't go our way. Like I just think they're going to make us look at this series and say, God damn it, what could have been, because they just lost. They do like they that I think that would be the new twist here. I don't know.
just
That's where I'm at.
losing, just
That,
losing.
in a normal fashion. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
But they're gonna make us believe at some point. They're gonna make us believe, and because
yeah.
right now we
I think you're
don't. Like
right.
that's what's
Just
happened this year.
just talking about just talking about
Uh,
it right now, I'm already
I'm
starting
sweating.
to believe. Yeah.
I'm sweating right now. Anyways, okay, let's look at some other second round matchups. Yeah. I guess you want to stick in the East then. We'll look at the other Eastern matchup real quick.
Yeah, let's do that. Who do we got? Oh, it's the Caps and the Hurricanes, right? The Washington Capitals and
Yes,
the Hurricanes.
sir. Yes, sir.
If I'm going to be honest, I'm still not sold on the Canes. I'm still leaning Caps here,
Are you sold on
personally.
either? Are you sold on either team? Like, did we learn anything in the first round?
No, we didn't.
Right?
I think both series kind of went the way that we expected. Like I don't remember exactly what my prediction was for the Caps
I
Habs
took
series.
Caps. I took Caps in seven. I
You said
expected the
7?
Habs. I expected the Habs to, and I think the Habs put up a fight, but I expected the Caps to kind of struggle a bit to start the series and have to grow into it. And that process like happened faster than I expected. I know we were in lockstep on Canes in five,
Hmm.
but if we're being honest, that was a sweaty 5 games from the respect of like the Devils barely had a blue line. Like
They
you
were
could
playing with
argue
three
that,
guys basically.
yeah, like you can argue that maybe they should have made quicker work of the Devils, or at least easier work
Yeah.
in Game Five, that you didn't have to go to a double OT. But
I
yeah,
mean, dude, that game 5 you started the game down 3-0 and you have to come back, which credit to them they did. Like you come back and you
yes,
win it. So I'll give
yeah,
them all the credit in the world, but I don't know if that's going to be working against
yeah.
this Capitals team.
What do you think the theme of this series is going in? To me, it's this is the all systems matchup. This is like the tactician matchup. This is like about the benches as much as it's about the guys on the ice. Like this is Rod the
This
Bod Brindamore versus Spencer the Carburetor. I don't know what
Yeah,
is.
the
Yeah,
carbonator, the carbonator, but he's like the Terminator.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
as if we're gonna talk about all systems matchup, this is as like Champions League final as it gets. Like, this
Ah,
is like
okay,
a Pep Guardiola
okay.
versus who else is like a
He's
master
like a young.
tactician.
He's got to be like a younger dude. Like Carberry's like on the come up. Like who's
Probably right now it's
right?
the guy in Barcelona, Hansi Flick. He's this
Okay.
German guy, and I think Barcelona could potentially win the Champions League this year just on the back of Hansi Flick's tactics. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm expecting like a chess match. We talked about the checkers before with Hiller and Knobloch. I think this is going to be more chess like than the checkers game that they were playing out in LA and Edmonton.
Yeah, yeah. I I'll be interested to see what game, like you're saying, like what plays out here. What kind of board game are the Caps and Canes taking
Are they
out
playing
for us here?
Monopoly? Or are they playing
Yeah,
Sorry?
yeah. I don't know. If I'm going prediction here, are the Canes different, and are the Caps? What is even the Caps question here? Because they showed us, like we said, like they showed us they are the team that we thought they are, in terms of just like they do belong in the playoffs. Like they were the second best team in the NHL, but they belong in the second round as well. I I think I'll double down and say here Caps in seven. I'll say they continue to show that it wasn't a mirage. They beat the Canes to the division. Um and it would suck for the Canes because yeah, this is just more of the same. What are you thinking?
I'm for me, I think honestly, Ty goes to the team that's been there before. In the Caps, I'm gonna say Caps in. I want to say Caps in 6 as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if this thing goes 7 either.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah, I'm
that is a
feeling something.
cop out answer, but I can't see the series not going at least 6 either. You know what I mean? Like I feel like this one's kind of tailored to a longer run than maybe
This
some
might
others could
be
be
I could see this one getting like this might be a triple overtime type of series. Like I can see one of those.
for a
I could
winner.
see
Yeah,
like just at some point in the series we get like the longest game of the playoffs.
yeah,
I can see a lot of like 2-1 games. Like it's gonna be low scoring.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I really think it's gonna come down to like things like just who won this face off. Did Carberry put out like the right line at the right like just a lot of tactician stuff. I'm doubling down on that theme here, but yeah, give me the Caps.
This
Yeah,
is the
can move on.
expected goals for Derby. That's what it is.
There you go.
Okay, now heading out west, I think we'll touch maybe Vegas, Edmonton. Dude, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I'll give you my prediction right away. I bet against the Oilers once. The Vegas Golden Knights are actually my cup pick. And I know a lot of people are just not giving them any credit. Give me Knights in 5.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I don't
Listen,
I
you
don't
know,
feel it with this Oilers team.
Knights were also my cup pick. 5 is really, really tough. The other thing is when it goes to 7, like I shouldn't say are you gonna doubt McDavid and Draisaitl because I mean there was a once upon a time a Stanley Cup final a year ago that went to 7. It took a winding route there, but um yeah, give me the Knights. Screw it, man. Give me the Knights in 5. Okay. I'm sorry,
Bang.
sorry. You know, Knights in 7. You know, I literally just Dave, I literally just I misspoke. Trust me, I didn't try to
Okay.
like I
Okay.
didn't try. I said it and then I heard your reaction. I'm like, I didn't say what I wanted to say. Give me the Knights in 7.
Not much in
Slightly,
terms of like
slightly
analysis
quieter
here. It's
bang.
just
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
bang.
and bang.
I I've I think my I when this series matchup had come around the first time a couple years ago, I think the thing that I was looking most forward to, and it didn't like really live up to the hype totally, because I think what I would want is Eichel and McDavid, like that matchup. I want to see that get to like a boiling point, and I know that that was a very much forced, not even a rivalry, but just totally media manufactured in the lead up to their draft. And just every time they do an interview, it was asking about the other, definitely more on the Eichel side of things. Especially just being in Buffalo, like he would have to hear that very, very often, especially in his first couple years there. And he basically forget about winning the battle. He never even just got to like they just never got to be two good teams at the same time. The Sabres have not been good for a damn long time. We saw him win the matchup the first time, but I think that was more like team on team. I want to see like an individual showdown this series. Jack Eichel, Connor McDavid. Just give me something from that 2015 manufactured rivalry. We got Mando aboard here too. Dave is back. Dave, I'm
Yes.
just talking about Connor McDavid versus Jack Eichel is what I'm looking most forward to here.
Yeah.
Because this
1v2.
Well, not even. I want the 1v1. Like, just take Drysdale out of it for a minute, which is like once again, I've made a lot of impossible drawn a lot of impossible scenarios, but I was just talking about like 2015. Like that is a very manufactured thing. McDavid versus Eichel. We've seen them go up in the playoffs before. Eichel won, but like it wasn't McDavid versus Eichel. That was still a Vegas versus Edmonton series. I want to see the individual 1v1 this time. I don't know. What are
Yeah.
you looking for like in the series then?
Um yeah, I mean that's definitely got to be the one for me as well. I just want to see the size matchup. Like this is still a big Vegas team. Like that's a heavy team. I want to see how this team right now. I think that Oilers team that they beat a couple of years ago was pretty banged up. I want to see this year. I don't know how banged up either team is. Like I won't. I can't sit here and be like both teams are at 100%, obviously, right? But I want to see how Vegas's beef kind of handles the speed of at the very least the top 6 of the Oilers, and then how they can if they can neutralize like the bottom as well. That's what I want
Yeah.
to see.
So I guess in a sense, it kind of feels like a juiced up LA Kings, right? That's kind of what Vegas is. If we're doing the Pokemon evolutions here, that's
Yeah,
the Kings. The Kings. The Knights are the Evo of the Kings.
it feels
Um,
like what's the Evo of Metapod? Because that's kind of what I thought the Kings
uh,
were. The
Um,
Kings should have been
uh,
more Metapod, honestly,
they turn it
but
well, it turns into a butterfly, butterfree.
Butterfree.
So
That's right.
I, yeah, yeah.
Maybe not.
I think they
Maybe
gotta
be
be
more
better.
Metapod.
They gotta be better than a butterfree. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I think that's yeah. It does. It just feel like okay, you beat the first challenge. Here's the same challenge, but just harder. You're playing on a harder difficulty now. Yeah, give me the Knights in seven though. I think this will be a great. All the series are really entertaining. Once again, it feels like that Metro series is going to be bottom of the entertainment rankings,
I
but
think so. Yeah.
just the way it goes, just the Metro used to be an absolute thunderdome, right? Like how many times are we like all of those Caps Penguins matchups were first on the entertainment rankings over and over and over and over again. This is just them coming back down to earth. So yeah,
Yeah. You're right.
yeah. Okay, last series.
If we're gonna go to the real Thunderdome, I think it's gonna be Dallas and Winnipeg. I almost had a Freudian slip there.
I think this is more less Thunderdome, more like a meteor shower because I don't know how you go against the Stars here, man. I I don't know. I think once again, fool me once. Like I took the Avs in seven, and I basically said like I cannot overlook not having Heiskanen and Robertson. Like it was just too much for me to be like this is doable. Like the Avs are also we talked about like that was a Stanley Cup matchup in the first round, or at least like a conference finals. So when you win that matchup, how am I now going to say that they're going to lose this next series? It's very, very, very tough, especially when it feels like they're getting at least one of the two back in Heiskanen and maybe Robertson as well.
and a little
Uh,
wrinkle in the plans for the Jets. Are they could potentially be down Josh Morrissey for an undetermined amount of time. Like he leaves the game
yeah.
in the first period. I'm not too sure what his status is at this current point in time, but it also sounds like Mark Scheifele isn't really that clear to return, at least for the start of this next series as well. It could be like some things could be determined after games one, maybe game two, too, right? So it's like, yeah, the Stars are down their most lethal offensive weapon in Jason Robertson and their most lethal defensive weapon in Miro Heiskanen, but so potentially could be the Winnipeg Jets, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm not giving like the Jets enough credit here, but the Stars now, it's like they are just rounding into the like a lot of preseason people's pick was the Dallas Stars. They were mine last year. They were not mine this year. My team might not be in the playoffs in general. I'm gonna you can deduce who I may have picked for anyone listening, but yeah, I think I'm steadfast in now believing in the Stars. Like I don't think if they're in any series going forward, I can choose against them. I'm taking the Stars in six here. I think Winnipeg shows us like they belong here. I think Connor Hellebuck maybe. What do you think? Can Connor Hellebuck have a stinker in the series and still repair his reputation somewhat?
I mean, he had three stinkers in the first series and still
Yeah,
got through. So
but they
maybe,
won. They won despite Connor Hellebuck. Here, they cannot. There's no world where the Winnipeg Jets beat the Dallas Stars despite Connor
despite
Hellebuck's play.
Hellebuck.
There's no world.
Um, Listen, I
Yeah,
doubted them. I doubted them in the first series. I'm going to doubt them again as well. I think six as well for Dallas. I think that's fair. Yeah. I don't know. I can't see. I'm still on fraud watch for the Winnipeg Jets, but credit to them for at least making the second round. So yeah,
they're fraudulish. They're not totally
Fraud.
fraudulent. Yeah, yeah. They're
Yeah,
getting
they're
there.
they're
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
medium well in the fraudulent department. They're not well done, I guess.
Um, let's bring in producer Mando to get some thoughts here. Mando, if you wanna look at either first round takeaways or second round look ahead, what do you got for us here, bud?
Let's keep it simple here, boys. I'll just do my predictions for round two. We've gone long enough. You guys have pretty much hit every possible angle. Let's get some light on my face just to bring in the sun and the excitement here of round two. I'm going against a lot of the picks here, guys, and it's not
Okay.
necessarily just to be like the heel, aka maybe the John Cena of the podcast for this week. I do pay attention to WrestleMania as much as I can, boys, and it's all thanks to you. But in terms of going in order, we'll start in the East. I am taking the Leafs in 6, boys. If it goes to
Oh,
7, I
wow.
Love
can't
it.
see them winning.
Bring
Yeah,
the
if it
passion.
goes to if it goes to 7, I can't see them taking it. There's just too many demons there. I just think when we talk about the Leafs, it's hard to determine the number one flaw in this team. In so many past years, you've been like, maybe it's coaching, maybe it's defense, maybe it's poor goaltending. When you look at this team now, it's just hard to say, okay, this is their clear number one flaw. And maybe some people can kind of take some time and look at it. But when we think about how strong the team is in general, it's hard to sort of say, well, just because now they're up against the Stanley Cup champions, who, of course, have shown very, very much time and time again, especially against Tampa, that they're a dominant force. It's hard to just say they're going to wither away and kind of give this thing up. You guys gave a lot more like 6 and 7 games, so that's not what I'm suggesting. But I just think when it comes to the Leafs, we've seen, again, so many times they've played down to competition. And I'm not saying that Ottawa is poor competition. They proved quite the opposite, to be honest. I actually said in an earlier pod that Montreal probably learned more from their first round series than Ottawa. This was when Ottawa was, I think it was 3-1 or 3-0. So I gave Ottawa way more credit for the way they finished the series. But I still think the Leafs played down to their competition. I don't think they can do that this time. I think they're going to step up. I think they have the Craig Berube that's going to go, hey, like, you can't let anything slip away against these guys. It's a really tight series. And I think one thing we didn't talk about was the fourth/third line. Maybe you guys touched on it. But like
Yeah,
just the Lorentz Lawton. You brought up Lawton. I heard the conversation there. But that Lorentz
yeah.
Lawton Yarncroke line, like that line's going to be a big problem. I think if you can kind of manage that fourth/maybe even third line, depending on where your take is, I think those guys can cause some damage. So I'm taking the Leafs in 6. I might be regretful. It's hard now to say we've built up all this excitement for this team, and
Oh yeah,
now you
yeah.
know what, it's done after 2 rounds. So I see why. I just got to hold a little
Uh,
passion. Maybe it's an insane take.
You
no,
are
that
as
sounds.
That's my thought
passionate as anybody, Mando, I think.
Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
No, I want to just be
I know.
full passion, and I hope that you are right. I am once again, like, I was cheering for the St. Louis Blues, if I'm being honest. After honestly going into Game
Yeah.
6, my prediction was Jets in 6, and I said screw that. I think the Jets would just be more fun to see win, more chaos. Um, I to the surprise of nobody, I will be cheering for the Toronto Maple Leafs in the series. Surprise, surprise! But
Yes.
the fourth line there. Um, do you guys think that, because I talked about like maybe you matching that against or like I said, third line, fourth line, and it goes up against Florida's third line of Loa Serenen, Lundell, Marchand, at least on the home when you can control the matchups. Do you dare try to actually use that as a proper checking line against like a top six Florida line? Because if you can like limit one of those two, then you might that might be a place that you can start making you could really like
Some
draw a disparity in the
inroads.
lineup, right? Yeah. Now the other lines have to survive for that matchup kind of change to work. That's just one idea that came to mind. If you have anything there, guys, or else the other thing I'm just thinking of that we haven't touched on is if you guys think the durability of the Panthers comes into question at all, not just like on this year, but this is now 2 years to the Cup final. They're looking to do it again. At what point does it become a longevity issue for these guys?
The Leafs need to, if for that to come into play, they need to, their F1 needs to be hammering the, like on a dump in. Like they got to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
hammering that defense on a dump in, like Florida, like the Sens were doing. They highlighted it. I forget which game it was. It could have been like the second or the third game where it was like, you after a couple of games of like always going in and hammering the guy with the puck, it starts to wear like by the time you get to game 6, game 7. And we did start to see the Leafs D, I think, have a few more miscues, especially like with passes and stuff by like 5-6. But they were able to like kind of stand tall. If the Leafs forwards can kind of just get in on the forecheck, and this is anybody, like I don't care who it is, but if your guys are going in and just pounding the Florida Panthers, I think that could be a potential way. Like you just kind of want to tenderize the team that has played probably the most amount of games over the past couple of years as compared to anybody else, right? There's got to be a question about durability here, right? I don't know. I really don't know because we've
Yeah.
seen it. We've seen it with Tampa. A lot of people were like, they won the first cup. They're like, okay, I don't know, can they do it again? Then they won a second cup, and then they make it to the cup finals a third straight year, and the fourth year they go up against the Leafs, and everybody's like, well, at some point these guys have to look a little bit like off their game, right? Is it this year? I'm a little bit more reluctant to believe that if I'm going to be completely honest. But they do need to do a lot more in terms of just putting meat on meat against the other guys. Like that's the way to do it. You've just got to beat them down. That's the only way to get by this team.
That's more of a team effort, I think, and it'd be exciting to see that fourth line be that neutralizing force for the top end, but it's such a like mismatched group of characters. Like it's such a misfit line. You have big Steven Lorentz, you have like meaty but medium sized Lawton, and then Yarncroke who's like a $125. Like it's just it works, but it's not really your typical bang and crash line. So I don't know if I
It's
trust
not
them
the
to
Mutin
necessarily.
line.
No, and that's what you'd expect if they're going to kind of shut it down. I think I'm looking more to Matthew Nyes to enforce the body in this series. Like he is such a dynamic player, and I think he's going to be like one, if not a few X factors in that he can't put the puck in the net, but he's that guy in the top six that can actually impose his presence in his body a little bit more in this series. So I'm going Leafs, but I'm obviously very aware that the Panthers can take this easily. So it's more of a like passion, excitement pick.
Hell yeah.
Canes, Caps. I'm gonna take the Canes in 7.
Okay.
I am not a disbeliever of the Caps. You guys explained it really well. It's a system series. I just think that Rod, as much as we've sort of made fun of him in the past for just not getting it done and basically suggesting, like his quote being like, we didn't lose the series, we didn't get swept. You did, and you know it. You just tried to kind of make it a fancy way of saying no. He's learned as much as possible. The team looks very like there's not a lot of changes outside of the nature Stankoven and switch up, right? There's a couple additions like the Jackson Blakes of the world. But again, the back end, I'm not confident in Kochetkov kind of getting the job done. I think that might be the biggest factor. If Anderson comes back, fantastic. But again, he's the least durable goalie in the NHL. I think as Leafs fans, we know that very well. But I just think it's going to be one of those situations where the team that's been there before, they haven't made it far enough to get exhausted. I feel like that there's still a lot of youth in that lineup, and there's still a lot of like X factors like the Martinooks. Like Jordan Martinook played a huge role in the first round series for the Devils. Mm-hmm. I still think there's so much in there that the team hasn't utilized a lot of their strategy and tactics yet, because for the most part, the Devils weren't much of a competition based on injury. So I just think that there's so much more juice there that the Canes haven't really squeezed. Whereas the Caps, it was such an emotional series. And it's the first time that they've actually made like a really strong appearance in the past couple of years. They were out in 4 last year. So as much as the Caps have the experience from the past, and they have some of the new guys that have really helped, I think the Canes are just going to have a little bit more current experience and a little bit more like depth in terms of how much energy they have. Whereas the Caps, I think, exhausted so much emotion, even though they took care of the Canadians easily. I don't know if they're going to be able to have that same emotion all the way through the series. That being said, 7 games is still, it could go either way. I just think the Canes, they beat the Caps, they take down their demons, and here we are. But again, to go either way, it's gonna be a tight one.
The blue line for me is what makes me doubt the Caps. It's like they're just so deep on that blue line, and I'm still waiting on a Nikishin debut. So Canes, give me that at least. Give me Nikishin, man. Yeah,
I know. Let's see some love there. Oilers and Knights. This one I have the least confidence in either way. I did not like Edmonton going into the playoffs. I'm like, I just don't want to see them again. And it's not, I would love to see McDavid and Draisaitl lift the cup. I have no disrespect to them. Obviously, they deserve it. But you see this Oilers team going to the playoffs again, and you're like, oh, look at this, like the 10th year with McDavid, and their goalie is still Pickard and Stuart Skinner. Like, we really haven't figured it out here, boys, have we? They defied all odds. But that being said, Game 5 is the reason that I'm a little bit more leaning towards Oilers in the series here. And the reason I say that is because the first few games, obviously we saw the dominance of the Kings. But again, your big boys bailed you out again. It's like Dad came home and he cleared everybody out. He said, "Oh, we're going to take everybody home." Like, no, that didn't happen in Game 5. We saw, I think, Matthias Janmark scored. Then Kane scored, or vice versa, Kane and Janmark, and then Nuge RNH. Not to say that he's like a depth, but he is, right? Unfortunately, like of the past few years, he's been okay. He's been average right now.
It's crazy to call
that's important.
a guy who scored 100 points, like what, 2-3 years ago?
3 years ago, yeah.
But yes.
It's like obviously he's a bubble guy, right? In the sense of like whether he's a superstar or whether he is like the depth guy.
On Edmonton,
you could kind of argue
is anyone not named McDavid or Drysdale.
That's
everyone else.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
it's exactly it. You can technically fit in Bouchard, but that being because his points per game you guys suggested. But anyways, to see that a barrage of shots and then the guys that ended up putting it in the back of the net were those depth pieces, that to me is like, okay, this Oilers team has found a groove. They found their game. That being said, I was going to say Oilers. I think it's the Knights in 7. I think I'm going to agree with you guys. I think the Knights still have like the big body, like they're such a strong team and they've done it before. The Oilers, again, with the emotion, and are they able to kind of keep this thing up? And I get just put Pickard on the back end. He's played average. He's played okay. But then LA Kings team that just completely fell off the face of the earth in terms of their offense. Like this is the most offensive they've been. They couldn't even score past them near the end. So I'm going to take the Knights. I don't have much to say about the last series, boys. I think it's Dallas in 6. I think there hasn't been so much of a series that's hedged on one player performing well, i.e. Hellebuck. If he plays well, maybe it's a series. He doesn't play well, it's Dallas in 4. But I just think it's interesting.
That's the thing is it's funny. The ceiling with Hellebuck playing well still feels like a Dallas win.
Exactly. It just doesn't. Right. And it's interesting though. I'm thinking, okay, like Dallas is heading into the series. I don't know how much has been disclosed, but you might not have Robertson, you might not have Heiskanen, at least for the beginning. And Ottinger was like very roller coastery in the series. He held his own, but there were some games and there's some goals that he probably should have stopped. Winnipeg, like you said, Dave, missing likely Scheifele at least early, their number one defenseman in Morrissey, and Hellebuck was beyond shaky. So the like basic baseline of the teams are very similar, but I just think the depth in Dallas is like it's unheralded. We've never seen a team that's been able to overcome basically a possible Stanley Cup matchup in the Avalanche and Dallas Stars just played in the first round. Now, the only point for the Jets is that do they have enough gas left after round 1 to sustain a pretty high checking physical second round matchup? I still think they do. I'd love to see more Canadian teams in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, but we might have none after having 3 Canadian teams in the final 8 teams.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
You're right.
So I'm going Dallas in 6. I like what you guys said. I'm just going to stick with it.
Are they going to have to take that Boston Pizza commercial off air for the rest of the playoffs if the Leafs?
It's like the middle of May.
Is it Boston? Yeah, it's either Boston Pizza or Pizza Hut.
No,
we're going to Field of Dreams this thing. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Sorry, Boston Pizza. Might have to. Hopefully, we're not cutting you short, but
well. Yeah. Hopefully they pay by like the bi-weekly, like instead of like, for 3 months basically. Because if it's May 25th and we have no Canadian teams in the playoffs,
let's Field of Dreams this thing. Let's just manifest the team into the Stanley Cup Finals with 2 American teams. Yep, that'll work. Yep.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Alrighty. Well, listen, that was quite a bit to get out of the way today. Round 2 kicks off tonight. I will be in attendance. Quick tangent here.
Go.
I am so beyond thankful. I'm going through members of my family who graciously gave us the tickets. So me and my brother are going to be heading down. It's an 8:00 start. I legitimately can't even describe how thankful I am. This is going to be my first ever playoff game for the Leafs.
Awesome.
I'm just expecting just a great atmosphere, especially after Game 5, where I thought the whole vibe in Scotiabank Arena after Shabbat scored that first goal, everybody clenched up. I'm hoping that we see more Game 1, Round 1 than Game 5, Round 1 this year.
You're in the building, you're going to bring that, okay? You're going to be part of the reason why.
You will be. I think you're going to be able to hear me on TV. I'm not going to lie.
I'm telling you, dude. Like you're going to have no voice tomorrow. And
I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine with that.
Once you go to a playoff game, it's like, it's tough to like go to regular season games after. To be honest, it's going to be really, really, really awesome. So enjoy that, man. And
I'm beyond excited. I hope the Leafs win. I'm not holding my breath for it. I'm praying to the hockey gods that I get to experience something that I've been dreaming of since I was a little kid.
And you know what? I'll step in, Dave. Yeah. I just want to say, like, I think if you were to pick a playoff series game to go to where you don't know what the outcome of the game's going to be, which is obviously every game, you're not looking retrospectively. I think Game 1 at home might be the best one, because say they lose, right? It's not great. You're not happy, but you got a possible 6 more games ahead that you can at least be like, the Leafs can get back on track. So I think you're in the best possible spot going today.
Fair. That's 100%. That should be that. You know what, Mando? I'm going to take that attitude and take it forward.
Optimism, baby. Optimism. Let's go.
Optimism. Gotta have the passion, guys. On that note, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you if you stuck around right to the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Share the Second Look Sports account with all your friends as well. You can find all our socials in the bio. Don't forget to follow us there on Twitter, on Instagram, now on TikTok. I don't know if we've really promoted our TikTok, but it is new. Follow us there on TikTok as well. On that note, go Leafs go. We'll see you guys next week. Yeah, question mark. And we'll see you guys next week.